Daddy, I didn't want to send this, but I had to. That's what my daughter, Lily, texted me with the video. I was in the garage, wiping grease off my hands from fixing our busted dryer again when I saw the message. I tapped play. The video was grainy, filmed through the crack of a slightly open bedroom door. My wife, Melissa, was sitting on our bed, her bare feet up, drinking wine straight from the bottle. Her sister Vanessa was sprawled next to her like she owned the place. Melissa's mom was pacing, arms flailing as she spoke. I don't get why you still let him live here. He's a damn burden, Liz. You should have kicked him out years ago. I know, right? Melissa laughed, slurring just a little. The guy's pathetic. He just pays the bills and thinks that earns him loyalty? Pfft. He owes us. After what I've tolerated? Please. The rest blurred. Something in my ears rang like a switch flipped. My face got hot. My jaw clenched so tight I thought a molar might crack. But I watched it all. Every single second. They called me useless. A tool. A paycheck with a pulse. Her sister even joked that she should keep me around just long enough to pay off the car. Melissa laughed. My wife, the woman I met 10 years ago in a bar while she cried over her ex, laughed. And then the worst part. She's still seeing Caleb? Vanessa asked, raising an eyebrow. Melissa smirked. Of course. She'd be stupid not to. Guy's got energy. Unlike Mr. Fix-It in the garage. My breath caught in my throat. Caleb. Caleb was the trainer I'd paid to get her in shape for our anniversary trip to Costa Rica last year. He was charming, sure. But I trusted her. Trusted them. I didn't cry. Not then. Not even a blink. I walked back into the house, calm as ever. Melissa was in the kitchen, scrolling on her phone, smirking at something. Probably texting that snake. I looked her dead in the eyes and smiled. You okay? She asked, barely looking up. Yeah. Just finished the dryer. Works fine now. She didn't even say thank you. That night, I tucked Lily into bed, kissed her on the forehead, and told her I loved her. I didn't mention the video? Not yet. But when I turned the lights off, I sat in the hallway, in the dark, just outside her door. My hands were shaking, but not from fear. From restraint. I paid their mortgage. Every month. On time. I kept the cars running. Took care of every broken thing in this godforsaken house. And they had the audacity to laugh at me like I was a walking joke. My own wife, sleeping beside me every night, whispering, I love you, with lips that belonged to another man by day. You want to know what true betrayal feels like? It's not fire. It's ice. It's the cold, calculated chill that creeps up your spine when you realize every thank you, every kiss, every meal she cooked, was part of a damn performance. So I didn't confront her. Not yet. No shouting. No slam doors. Just silence. I wanted her comfortable, arrogant, unaware. Because the next mortgage payment was coming. And I had a plan. Not revenge. No, revenge is for fools. This was going to be justice. But first, I needed to play my part. I needed to be the weak, dumb husband a little longer. Let them talk. Let them laugh. The next act was mine. The next morning, I made her breakfast. Yeah, you read that right. Eggs, bacon, toast, the full spread. Melissa came down in one of my shirts, hair messy, lips still flushed from God knows what she did last night. She yawned, stretched, then kissed my cheek like nothing had happened. Morning, babe, she said, plopping down at the table. Morning, I replied, buttering her toast like a damn servant. She didn't even notice the look in my eyes. She was too busy texting under the table. I could see the name flash on her phone screen when she angled it slightly, Caleb. No last name needed. My jaw clenched, but I smiled through it. I was a ghost in my own house, but I wasn't going to haunt just yet. I sat across from her and pretended to sip coffee while watching her. She laughed at her screen, biting her lip in that way she used to when we first met. But that look had long stopped being mine. She passed the phone back and forth like a high school girl crushing on the star quarterback, all while I kept their damn lights on. Vanessa showed up around 10, pretending to drop off some mail. She had a smirk that made my skin crawl. I stepped aside, let her in, even offered her coffee. She declined, giving me a once-over like I was a bug stuck on her windshield. I watched them walk off to the patio together and close the kitchen door behind them. What they didn't know, I had drilled a mic into the back patio light fixture last summer. I told Melissa it was to check for water damage. Guess I got more than water. I slipped my phone from my pocket and turned on the recording app. He's so clueless, Vanessa said, laughing. Still doing chores and making you food like you're the queen. Please, Melissa scoffed. He is clueless. I told Caleb we'll have the house soon. Once the next payment hits, I'm filing. Does he suspect anything? Melissa paused. Nah, he's too much of a coward. If he knew, he'd have already cried like a little bitch. He thinks being quiet makes him mysterious. It just makes him a doormat. Vanessa cackled. I turned off the recording. That was all I needed. I went into the garage and sat on my workbench, just breathing. My hands were shaking again. Not out of rage this time, but disbelief. I had no idea how long I'd been the town fool in my own house. My wife wasn't just cheating, she was plotting, planning my eviction from the life I'd built. But I wasn't done. I called my lawyer friend, Marcus. We'd gone to college together before life sent us down different roads. I told him everything minus the tears. He didn't even hesitate. You have the recordings? I do. Good. Don't say a word to her. Not yet. Play dumb. Transfer your income. Shut off the joint account. Put your daughter's future first. Then we hit back. I hung up and took a deep breath. The trap was set. That night, Melissa slid into bed beside me in red lace. She wrapped her arms around my chest like nothing was wrong. Love you, she whispered. I looked up at the ceiling. Love you too. Lie for a lie. But not for long. The next morning, Melissa kissed me goodbye before heading to yoga. She even winked like we were still some kind of happy couple. I smiled back, watched her drive off in the car I paid for, and then walked into my office. I wasn't going to work. I was transferring every cent from our joint account into my private savings. Money she never touched. Money she never even knew existed. I'd been funneling side income from freelance projects there for years. Then I made the call to the bank, froze the joint credit cards, closed the shared online bill system. Her name disappeared from everything within 20 minutes. Let's see how she buys Caleb's protein shakes now. By noon, I had rerouted the next mortgage payment to bounce. Not decline bounce. I wanted the notification to hit her like a brick wall. I wanted the message to come in while she was with him. Let her have a moment of panic in the middle of her sweaty afternoon stretching session. And it worked. At 12:47 p.m., she texted me. Melissa, hey babe, did something happen with the mortgage? Me, what do you mean? Melissa, I got a message from the bank. It says the auto payment failed. Me, weird. I'll look into it later. I let her stew. 2 hours later, she came home early. That was rare. Her makeup was rushed, hair in a bun, and her yoga pants were on inside out. Real classy. She didn't even greet me, just stormed past toward the bedroom and shut the door. I stayed in the kitchen, casually chopping vegetables for dinner like the obedient little husband she thought I was. 5 minutes later, she came back out. Why didn't the mortgage get paid? I turned to her slowly, gave her the most honest smile I could fake. Oh, I thought we agreed you'd handle that from now on. Her face twitched. No, we didn't. We didn't. I asked, tilting my head. That's weird. I remember you and your family saying I was just a burden, that I owed you. Seemed like you wanted me out of the way. The blood drained from her face. What are you talking about? I pulled out my phone, pressed play, and let the video Lily sent run loud and clear on the speaker. I made sure every cruel word echoed through the house. Her face froze. I didn't, Lily, she wasn't supposed. Oh, I know. That's why she sent it. You got too comfortable, Melissa. Her mouth opened and closed like she was choking on her own poison. Then she turned angry, fast. You're spying on me now? That's pathetic. No, what's pathetic is living in a house paid for by someone you mock. What's pathetic is screwing a trainer behind your husband's back and calling it yoga. What's pathetic is thinking you'd get away with it. She took a step forward, and I saw it. The panic. The realization. You can't just leave me like this. What about Lily? You'd ruin her life. I raised a hand. Don't bring our daughter into this. She already knows more than she should. And unlike you, she still respects me. Melissa started crying, or at least tried. But the tears didn't fall. Maybe they were dried up from all the lies. Or maybe she realized too late that crocodile tears wouldn't work this time. You think Caleb will take care of you now? I asked, crossing my arms. You think that guy wants a woman with no house, no car, and no cash? She didn't answer. That silence told me everything I needed. The queen just realized her throne was made of glass. And I had the hammer. The next few days were quiet, too quiet. Melissa walked around the house like a ghost, tiptoeing instead of stomping like she used to. She stopped wearing the fake smiles, stopped calling me babe, and didn't even bother cooking dinner anymore. Good. She was losing control. I hadn't moved out. Not yet. That would have been the easy route. No, I wanted her to feel every inch of the ground shifting beneath her feet. Let her watch the empire she built on lies crumble, brick by damn brick. She tried acting normal for Lily's sake. Sat at the table, asked her about school, helped her with homework. But Lily barely looked at her. The girl wasn't stupid. She saw right through her mother's act. When Melissa reached to hug her one night, Lily pulled away and said, "I'm not in the mood." I almost cried. Not out of sadness, but pride. My daughter saw the truth before I even showed it to her. That night, I texted her. "Me, I'm proud of you. I know this is hard. Lily, I just want peace. I want real." Same kid. Same. Melissa tried calling Caleb multiple times, but I knew he wasn't answering. Word had gotten out, because I made sure of it. A friend of mine saw Caleb getting grilled by his gym's owner about inappropriate relations with a client. Turned out, I wasn't the only husband catching on. I heard her on the phone, whispering, pleading, trying to get him to meet her. Then came the real punch. "I told you I'd leave him. I was doing it for you." For him? I almost kicked down the damn door when I heard that. 10 years of marriage reduced to some side note in her affairs storyline. But I stayed calm. Revenge tastes better slow. That weekend, Melissa's parents came over for dinner. I didn't tell her I invited them. I just waited until they were halfway through their meal before casually dropping the bomb. "So, did you guys enjoy the video?" Her fork clattered on her plate. Her mom blinked. "What video?" "Oh," I said, grabbing my phone. "The one where you call me a worthless burden while drinking my wine in my house." Her father shifted awkwardly. Melissa looked ready to faint. I pressed play. The room froze. Her mom's mouth opened, then shut, then opened again. That was taken out of context. "No," I said, calm and clear. "That was the exact context. You just didn't think I'd hear it." Melissa stood up, red-faced, shaking. "Why would you do this now? In front of them?" "Because you humiliated me behind my back, and I want you to feel what that's like. I want every fake person in your corner to know they picked the wrong side." Her dad stood up. "We should go." "Oh, please do. And take your freeloading daughter with you. She's not welcome here anymore." Melissa's mom gasped. "You can't just throw her out. This is her home." "Not anymore," I said, grabbing a folder off the counter. "I own this place. Sole name. Check the paperwork. I've been planning this longer than she's been sneaking off to that gym." Melissa looked at me, stunned. "Betrayed. Good. Let her taste it." "Where the hell am I supposed to go?" she snapped, voice cracking. I shrugged. "You should have thought of that before you burned the man keeping the lights on." She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just stood there, hollow, as her fantasy life turned to ash around her. Her mother grabbed her purse. Her dad didn't even look back as he opened the door. The silence after they left was the sweetest thing I'd ever heard. And then, Melissa finally said it. "I made a mistake." I looked at her like she was a stranger. "No, you made a choice." Then I walked out of the room, and for the first time in years, I felt free. After her parents left, the house didn't feel like mine. It was mine. Melissa stayed in the guest room. She didn't even try to sleep in our bed again, not after I shut the door in her face that night. Good. Let her taste what isolation feels like. Let her see what happens when the man she mocked quietly takes back every inch of space she polluted. She walked around like a ghost. No more red lace. No fake smiles. Just sweatpants, hoodies, and regret. But don't get it twisted, she wasn't sorry. She was scared. Scared of losing her comfort, her control, her damn lifestyle. One morning, I walked into the kitchen to grab coffee and found her just sitting there, staring at the fridge like it owed her something. "Mortgage is due again next week," she said, not looking up. I poured my coffee slowly. "Cool. Not my problem anymore." She finally looked up. "You really going through with this? After everything?" I laughed. Actually laughed. "You mean after you and your family called me worthless while I paid for all of you to live like royalty? After you gave your body to another man while I raised our daughter and fixed your mother's damn leaky sink?" Her face twitched. "I messed up." "You didn't mess up. You schemed. You planned. You were going to leave me the second I wasn't useful to you anymore. You were just too stupid to do it quietly." She bit her lip. "It wasn't serious. With Caleb. It wasn't." "Stop." I raised a hand and stepped forward. "Don't stand here and try to rewrite history. I heard what you said. I saw the texts. I watched you humiliate me behind my back." Her eyes watered. "What do you want from me? Punish me? Fine. I deserve it." I sipped my coffee. "You don't get to decide what you deserve." And then I left the kitchen. A few days later, the paperwork arrived. Marcus, my lawyer, was a machine. Divorce, custody, house, accounts. It was all laid out, airtight. I handed it to her at dinner like it was just another bill. What is this? Freedom, I said, sitting across from her. Sign it. She flipped through the pages, eyes darting. You're giving me nothing? You already took everything. This is me taking it back. Her jaw clenched. I won't sign. You will, I said, cold and steady. Because if you don't, I'll drag every dirty little secret of yours into court. Caleb. The lies. The video. The recordings. The fake therapy appointments. Lily will see everything. And guess what? The judge will too. She looked down, silent. And then she did something I didn't expect. She smiled. A slow, twisted smile. You know what, Jason, she said, voice calm, eyes glinting. You're not as weak as I thought. But you're still a fool. I raised an eyebrow. How's that? You think this ends when I sign some papers? You think Caleb was the only one? My stomach turned. She leaned in. You were never enough. Not emotionally. Not physically. You were just convenient. That was her final swing. Her last punch. And you know what? It didn't land. I stood up, took the pin from the table, and dropped it in front of her. Then this should be easy for you. Sign. She stared at it for a long time. And then, she did. No tears. No final plea. Just the sound of a pin scratching the end of a decade. I walked out, left her sitting there in her broken kingdom. The silence afterward? It was beautiful. I slept like a damn baby that night. No guilt. No racing thoughts. No laying awake staring at the ceiling, wondering where she was or who she was with. For the first time in years, I wasn't sharing my bed with a stranger. I was alone, and it felt like peace. Melissa was gone when I woke up. Not permanently. Just out. Probably with one of her backup boys, trying to figure out which one would give her a place to crash once the ink dried. I didn't care. She was someone else's problem now. I made pancakes for Lily. She smiled for the first time in weeks. A real one. Is Mom leaving? She asked between bites. I nodded. Yeah. We're working things out so it's better for everyone. She looked down at her plate. She used to be different. I know, I said quietly. So did I. That evening, Melissa came back wearing sunglasses, indoors. Trying to look unfazed, like she hadn't just signed away her golden ticket. But I saw through her. The silence was thicker now. Every step she took in the house echoed. It didn't belong to her anymore. She sat on the couch like a guest. Not a wife. Not a partner. Just an intruder waiting for the axe to fall. Can we talk? She finally asked. I stayed standing. She cleared her throat. I want to know what happens next. With Lily. With everything. You'll get the visitation schedule in 2 days, I said. Marcus will handle the rest. She crossed her arms, annoyed now. So that's it? 10 years, just gone. I laughed, dark, bitter, sharp. Gone? No, Melissa. 10 years doesn't just disappear. It burns. Every moment. Every dollar. Every lie. And now you get to live in the ashes. You think you're better than me? She snapped. No, I said, locking eyes with her. I know I'm better than the version of you that looked me in the eyes for years while sleeping with someone else. She stood up, furious. You think I wanted Caleb? He was easy. He listened. You were always so quiet. Always somewhere else. You mean I was working, providing, taking care of a family while you played the victim and the seductress in the same breath. She stared at me like she didn't recognize the man in front of her. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she still saw the guy who fixed her problems, paid her bills, and looked the other way when she came home late smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. But that guy was dead. Why didn't you say anything sooner? She asked. I was waiting, I said, for the mask to slip. And when it did, I made sure I had everything ready. I'm not stupid, Melissa. I just believed in us longer than I should have. She blinked. For a second, she looked like she might cry. But I didn't care anymore. The next day, she packed a few bags and left. No goodbye. No apology. Just silence. I watched her drive off from the front porch. Her car turned the corner, and just like that, she was gone. Lily stood beside me. Are we going to be okay, Dad? I put my arm around her. We already are. We stood there a long while, watching nothing, listening to nothing. And for once, the silence wasn't a threat. It was a promise. A week passed. No more Melissa. No more games. Just me and Lily trying to figure out what normal felt like again. The house was quieter, but not in a suffocating way. It was peaceful. Like we could breathe again without choking on lies. Lily spent more time with me now. She'd sit beside me on the couch during movies, asked to come with me to the grocery store. Small things that used to feel like obligations now became moments we both looked forward to. She was healing. I could see it. And maybe I was too. But it wasn't over. Melissa started texting. Little things at first. Melissa, can I talk to Lily? Melissa, you blocked me from the shared calendar. Melissa, you can't just erase me, Jason. I didn't respond. Not because I was being petty, but because I owed her nothing. She signed away her right to us the moment she chose excitement over loyalty. Then one night, she showed up. It was around 9 p.m. I was in the backyard watering the flowers Lily and I planted. The porch light flicked on behind me, and there she was, arms crossed, face pale, eyes sunken. I want to talk. I didn't move. You have 2 minutes, I said. She stepped forward. It wasn't just Caleb. You were right. There were others. I felt that, even though I'd suspected. It still landed like a knife. But none of them meant anything, she continued. I just needed to feel something. I turned off the hose. No. You wanted to feel something else. Something forbidden. And you didn't care who you destroyed in the process. She blinked back tears. I thought I could fix it before it blew up. I thought you'd never know. You didn't want me to know because you knew I'd walk away, I said. But I'm glad I did. I'm better now. So is Lily. She looked around the yard, like seeing it for the first time. The plants, the lights, the calm. It feels different here, she said quietly. Because you're a stranger now. Silence. Then, her voice cracked. Do you think you'll ever forgive me? I didn't answer right away. I stared at the stars above, took a deep breath, and then said, maybe. But forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. It doesn't mean welcome. It just means I'm done carrying the weight of what you did. She nodded slowly. I lost everything. No, I corrected. You gave everything away. She stood there for a moment longer, as if hoping for a change of heart. But there was no miracle. No redemption arc. Just consequences. She turned and walked away. I watched her go again. This time, it didn't hurt. That weekend, Lily and I went out of town. A small cabin in the woods, just the two of us. No phones. No reminders of what we left behind. One night by the fire, Lily looked at me and said, "You're stronger than I thought." I smiled. I didn't feel strong, I admitted. But sometimes strength isn't loud. It's just choosing not to break. She leaned her head on my shoulder. Mom was wrong about you. I didn't answer. Because I already knew. And soon, everyone else would too. It's strange how fast life fills in the spaces someone once took up. A few months ago, the thought of Melissa leaving would have torn me apart. Now, I couldn't believe how light everything felt. Like my lungs had more room. Like time finally slowed down enough for me to breathe again. The divorce was finalized last week. She didn't contest anything in the end. Maybe it was shame. Maybe she finally realized the kingdom she tried to build was made of sand, and I just let the tide wash over it. I didn't attend the final court date. Marcus handled it all. I stayed home and helped Lily build a bookshelf for her room. She wanted it, like in those cozy book cafes. She picked the wood. I helped her screw it together. She placed her books one by one, alphabetically, and wrote her name on the back with a Sharpie. That night, we had pizza on the floor, no plates, no rules. She laughed more than I'd heard her laugh in a year. Do you ever miss her? Lily asked suddenly, mouthful of cheese. I didn't answer right away. I took a sip of soda, leaned back against the wall. I miss who I thought she was, I said honestly. But the real her? No, not anymore. She nodded. I don't either. We sat in silence after that. A warm, easy silence. One that didn't ache. In the following days, Melissa tried one last time to claw back something. Not love, no. That was gone. She wanted control. She emailed me, saying she deserved some sort of monthly support since she sacrificed years of her life. I didn't even reply. Marcus did, with one paragraph, and a warning that if she kept reaching out, we'd press for harassment charges. She went quiet after that. A few of our old friends reached out. Some shocked, some supportive. Some tried to stay neutral, which told me everything I needed to know. I didn't waste energy on anyone who needed to hear both sides. If the video wasn't enough, nothing ever would be. I kept moving forward, not with rage, not with revenge, with intention. I changed the locks, painted the walls, got rid of the bed we once shared and replaced it with one I chose myself. I cleared every drawer that once held her perfume, her mess, her secrets. I made space for peace. One day, I was fixing the fence out back when Lily brought me lemonade. She sat on the grass and watched me hammer nails. "You're better without her," she said. Just like that. No build-up. No question. I looked at her and smiled. "So are you." She grinned, sipped her drink, and went back to sketching in her notebook. I stood there for a while, watching her, and realized I hadn't just survived betrayal. I'd rebuilt something stronger in its place. Something real. And that brings me here to the lesson. The part people expect when a story ends. So here it is. Never ignore the quiet voice in your gut. It knows. Never confuse love with loyalty to pain. And if someone shows you who they are when they think you're not watching, believe them. Melissa's chapter in my life is closed. But the story? The story is just beginning. And this time, I'm the one holding the pen.